Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. We are going to be tackling a really interesting topic today. Humility.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it is. It's a big one, and it can be tough, right?
Yeah.
Humility. But we're going to look at it through a Christian perspective today. We've got this excerpt all about humility before God, and it is fascinating. We're going to try to unpack this idea. It connects something ancient, the story of the Tower of Babel,
Right.
to you. To your relationships today.
Yeah.
You ready?
I am. It's an interesting connection for sure. It might seem like a big jump
Yeah.
at first, but when you dig into the themes,
Yeah.
they're so applicable to us now.
So let's just do a real quick recap for anyone who maybe needs a refresher. What is the story of the Tower of Babel?
Yeah, so you've got all these people all united, right?
Yeah. Hmm?
And they decide they're going to build this massive tower,
Okay.
reach heaven.
Ambitious.
Super ambitious.
Yeah.
And God sees this, and he's not happy about it. He confuses their languages, scatters them across the earth.
He puts a stop to it.
He does.
Yeah.
And what's key here is that it wasn't the ambition itself that God was punishing.
Right.
It was their pride. It was this self-reliance.
It was a HOW.
Yes, the H-O-W. You know that verse from Proverbs? Pride goes before destruction,
Right.
a haughty spirit before a fall.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's being illustrated here.
So it's not just about reaching for something big, but it's how you go about it, the motivation behind it.
Exactly. Like, think about it. Have you ever been so determined to do something yourself
Oh, yeah.
that you refuse to ask for help,
Oh, all the time.
even when you're struggling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I tried to put together that bookshelf by myself, it was a disaster, a pile of particle board, my own personal Tower of Babel moment.
And that's a great example. We might not be building literal towers these days,
Right.
but we all have those moments where pride is tempting us. It's saying, like, you can do this alone. You don't need anybody. And that actually weakens us.
It isolates us.
It does.
Yeah.
So where does humility fit into all of this?
Yeah, where does it fit in? It seems like the opposite of that go it alone mentality.
It is.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that you have limits, that we all do, and acknowledging that we need others.
So it's not about putting yourself down. It's about understanding you're part of something bigger.
Yes.
Our source uses this really powerful image. It contrasts the Tower of Babel
Oh, God.
with Jesus washing the disciples' feet.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Quite a role reversal.
That's a huge one. You have the King of Kings
Right.
performing this task that a servant would normally do.
Yeah.
It's not about weakness.
Right.
It's strength. It's love. It's humility in action.
And that makes me think of another figure that our source brings up, Moses,
Oh, yeah.
described as the most humble man on earth.
And what's interesting is that his humility is what made him such a powerful leader.
Really?
Yeah, he wasn't driven by ego or this need for recognition. He was willing to listen
Mm-hmm.
to God and to the people he was leading.
So humility isn't just about being like nice or self-effacing. It can make you more impactful,
Yeah.
more effective.
Absolutely. And it helps us connect with people in a genuine way.
Yeah.
Because we're not pretending to have it all together.
Well, we were being real.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm with you so far. But is there ever a time when a little pride is a good thing?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, doesn't it take pride to have confidence?
It's a tricky line,
Yes.
but there is a difference.
Oh.
Healthy self-esteem is
Yeah.
important. It helps us value ourselves.
Right.
But destructive pride,
Okay.
that's arrogance,
Mm.
self-importance.
That's when it goes too far.
And that pushes people away. It hinders growth.
So where does that line blur
Huh.
between healthy pride and destructive pride? How do we know when we've crossed the line? We're going to dig into that and explore some practical ways to cultivate humility when we come back.
And we are back. Still wading into the waters of
Yeah.
humility. Before we took a break, we were talking about that fine line
Yeah.
between, healthy pride and destructive pride.
When does confidence turn into...
Yeah, when does it turn into arrogance? Where does that line blur?
Right.
Yeah.
It is a tough one. It's easy to get tripped up.
Our source material gives us some guidance, though,
Yeah.
right? It's just starting with prayer.
Yeah.
Like actually asking God,
Mm-hmm.
hey, show me where pride might be sneaking in.
It's like a spiritual checkup. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it helps us see those blind spots.
Where we might not even realize
Right.
that pride is holding us back.
Exactly. Because let's be honest,
Yeah.
humility,
It doesn't come naturally.
no, not always. Sometimes it's easier to just charge ahead and think you can handle everything on your own.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Way easier. But our source reminds us that that's not really where fulfillment comes from.
No. Real fulfillment comes from acknowledging that you need God and that you need other people.
And then it gives us this practical step. Acts of service.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
You would think focusing on yourself
You'd think so.
would be the path to
Right.
fulfillment. It seems counterintuitive,
But it's saying to focus on others.
but it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
When you're serving other people, your focus is outward. It's not all about you and your own needs anymore.
Like that quote, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be these grand gestures,
Oh, okay.
little things.
Yeah.
Small acts of kindness and service can make a huge impact.
What kind of things?
Imagine a coworker is totally swamped, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could offer to help them, even if you've got a ton on your own plate.
So it's like putting their needs before your own.
Exactly. Or, how about this? Somebody's sharing their problems with you, and instead of jumping in trying to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
just listen. Really listen.
That's hard.
It is. It's a way of saying, I don't have all the answers,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes humility is even simpler than that.
Okay.
It's just admitting when you mess up,
Hmm.
owning your mistakes instead of getting defensive or blaming other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Takes courage to do that.
It does, but it builds trust
Mm-hmm.
and it lets you grow. The amazing thing is, when you practice these little acts of humility,
Mm-hmm.
they start to change you from the inside out.
It's like building a muscle.
Yeah. The more you use it,
Yeah.
the stronger it gets. And as you grow in humility,
Yeah.
you become more open to God's grace
Okay.
and more aware of the needs of the people around you.
So it's not just about being like a good person.
Right.
It's about inner transformation.
Exactly.
That changes how you interact with the world.
Yeah. It changes how you handle conflict,
Mm-hmm.
how you respond to criticism,
Okay.
how you celebrate other people's success.
Interesting.
Humility changes how you see yourself
Mm-hmm.
and how you see other people.
With more compassion.
Yes. So I gotta ask you,
Mm-hmm.
could humility actually be the key
Wow.
to finding more fulfillment in life?
That's a great question. It seems backwards, doesn't it? The less you focus on yourself, the more fulfilled you become.
It's a paradox.
We're going to explore that question and more when we come back for our final part. We're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive on humility.
It's been a good one.
It has been. It really makes you think, right?
Yeah.
We started way back with the Tower of Babel.
Right. All that pride.
Yeah. Trying to reach God on our own terms.
Not a good look.
Not a good look. And then we saw how Jesus totally flipped the script, washing the disciples' feet.
So powerful.
Yeah. And all this week we've been wrestling with this idea of thinking of ourselves less.
Not less of ourselves. Less of ourselves.
Right. That's the key, isn't it?
It is. It's not about denying your strengths.
Yeah.
It's about remembering there's something bigger than you.
Makes me think of that Dalai Lama quote,
Go on.
Our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
It's all about looking outward.
Right. And humility can be that guiding principle in how you live your life, your relationships, your work, everything.
Yeah.
It leads to kindness, compassion, understanding.
Like a ripple effect.
It is. It starts with you and it spreads out.
It also changes how you handle tough times, doesn't it?
For sure. You don't get defensive. You don't blame others. You're open to learning and growing from it.
So maybe humility is the key to being fulfilled. It seems so backwards, though.
Yeah, it's a paradox for sure.
Yeah.
But our source really emphasizes that real joy doesn't come from self-promotion. It comes from service and love.
Surrendering your ego,
Mm-hmm.
letting something bigger work through you.
Exactly.
Our source ends with a really powerful call to action.
Oh, yeah.
It says, go forth in humility this week and watch how God works in and through your surrendered heart. Let us build not towers of pride, but lives of service and love, firmly grounded in the grace of our Savior.
Wow. That's beautiful.
It's a challenge, right? To live it out, to remember that humility, it's a journey, not a destination.
It's a practice.
Every day, big ways and small ways.
And as you practice,
Yeah.
you open yourself up to more meaning, more connection, more love.
Well said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into humility.
Thanks for having me.
We hope it's giving you some things to think about
Yeah.
and maybe even inspired you to try a little more humility in your own life.
You won't regret it.
Until next time, keep diving deeper.